Hi everybody, Chris and PJ here live in the Dream Giveaway Garage.
Hello, Christopher.
Hello PJ.
It's been a fun day today. Lots going on in the garage.
Fun day today on a Wednesday, and we're going to be taking questions from you guys. You ask a question and we know the answer, we'll tell you. And we got a couple questions in today. Seems to be a little bit of speculation. I'm not going to say the word confusion, even though that's the word I just said, regarding this wonderful classic F-250 that we're giving away in our second Ford Classic Truck Dream giveaway. Technically our third Classic Truck Dream giveaway. We gave away a Chevy C10 a few years ago. That went out to the great state of California, but this 68 F-250. So the reason that I have the hood open is that it's heavy. You don't have to see me open it. No, the real reason is that we had somebody today who said, we don't know the difference between carburation and fuel injection. Fair enough. You can think that if that's what you want to think. But the wonderful thing about the aftermarket, we see companies that seem all the time coming out with these cool products that make you think you're in a classic ride, but really have modern technology involved. And that's what's going on with this F-250. I stand by it. It is fuel injected. You'll believe me here in a moment. And we'll go and see. So if you look at the photos on our website and you're just sort of glancing at it, it could look like a carburetor, right? But when you get in close, and I already took off that Edelbrock air cleaner there, how long does it take you to realize this is not a carburetor? It's a fuel injection system. Holley, I know, looks like a double pumper, doesn't it? It's not. It's a Holley Sniper EFI system. Everything fuel injected there. And instead of putting that electric fuel pump in the tank, you can see it hanging right over here, right? Look at that big old boy there.
So someone said this was a carburetor.
Someone said it's a carburetor. And listen, at first blush, you're looking at a picture on the web underneath an air cleaner. You could think that it's a carburetor. You don't have to tell me that I don't know what I'm talking about.
But we got it, or it was.
Oh, yeah. So there's the whole Holley EFI kit. You can see the EFI system there, including the controller, including all the pieces. Now, the FI Tech, who also makes great EFI systems for classic vehicles, this build included that FI Tech electric fuel pump right there. And you can see the pressure gauge right there. It's really nice. If that was in the gas tank, you wouldn't be able to check fuel pressure quite as easy as looking at a gauge in your engine compartment.
So even though this looks like it's a carbureted engine, it's fuel injection.
It is definitely fuel injection. Yeah, no doubt. It is fuel injection. And when you fire it up, you know it. You don't have to pump the gas, right? Turn that key, ba-ba-boom. And the engine stroked 351, board stroke 351, now displacing 408 cubic inches. A couple other things here to note on this wonderful small block is that you've got a serpentine belt system here. For those of you who are more familiar with the V-belt system of the classic days, serpentine system is one belt. Much, much thicker than a V-belt of the old days, unless you're running a blower, right? And anyway, so you can see here that serpentine system, why do they call it that? Because it snakes around all of the various pulleys, the accessory drive coming off the front of that block there, so that you can see that it's running the AC, it's running the water pump, it's running the crank pulley, it's running the power steering, and of course it's running the alternator. I don't think I missed anything there. So, ton of work. This is really a high-end project, putting together a fuel-injected stroked 351W, or Windsor, as they say in Ford land. Who's out there, PJ?
James says those snipers are big money, but good.
Yeah, they are big money. And what's interesting was, I was looking today, you know, I have a classic Pontiac. I said, what if I put fuel injection on mine? So I was looking at the price of these EFI systems. And for the system I was looking at, $3,000 to $6,000 just for the kit. I'm not talking installation and tuning, just for the kit.
Wow.
But this is a nice one. Holley makes good product on this. Not all of them are chromed. You can see that from the picture that PJ had put up for you a minute or so ago. Maybe PJ will go back to that and see that one's not chromed, but the one that we have is chromed. Super, super nice there. You know, speaking of EFI, it then brings forward the question, is this drive-by cable or is it drive-by wire?
Somebody asked us that
Somebody
today.
asked us that this morning, and PJ and I went and looked in the Restomod Corvette that has an LS3. Of course, that's a throttle body fuel injection, right? And so that is drive-by-wire. What's the difference? It means that when you push that accelerator, that an electronic signal is sent to that system to tell it how much throttle you're giving it. On drive-by cable, there is a physical cable that goes back down through the firewall. See? We can see it right here. It's almost looks just like on a carburetor. You've got your cabling here, it goes back through the firewall and it connects to the accelerator cable. So that's drive-by cable. The Restomod Corvette, which is also fuel injected, is drive-by wire.
Is there a difference in driving when you actually press on the gas where it's a digital kind of readout input system?
Some people think so.
Or it's a cable-based?
No, some people think so, that there's a different feel between the two. I mean, I've driven both. I think that there's a more analog feel, if you will, in the drive-by cable, and a more, maybe a smoother feel, if you will, on drive-by-wire. But, you know, that's all opinion, right?
Yes. John, hey, John has a quick question about the Cadillac.
Yeah.
Do you guys know if it would be possible to get 3 car seats in the Cadillac?
Why
you
not?
Want to take a quick look
You
at the
put
back
one
seat?
in the passenger. Hold on. Is your kid driving? If so, you could put one here.
No, there's 4 doors, so we got to...
Sure, you put one right there, and you put 2 in the back. Why not? You got plenty of room.
Well, maybe 3 in the back?
Or you could put 3 in the back. Why not? Oh, that's right. Because you're not supposed to put one in the front passenger seat unless you put a reverse. You can?
Well, you really shouldn't put them in the front seat at all, I guess.
Okay, yeah. There's room in the back for 3. There's 3 seat belts in the back because that's a 5-seater. So back to the 250. The other thing that people have been commenting on, they tell Kathy this, it's not a real 250, it's a 100.
Well, why would they say that,
And
Chris?
the reason that they cite this is that they say that there is not an 8-lug wheel on the front. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay.
Yeah, 5.
Fair enough. It's not an 8-lug wheel. So what? So what? It's a freaking Restomod. Watch my language.
So you have some liberties.
Yeah, exactly. It's a Restomod. You have all the liberties that you want. I'm going to prove to you in a moment that it's a 250 from the factory. What happened was, whoever did the restoration probably liked the wheel selection that was available on a 5-bolt pattern, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, how hard is it to change out the wheel hubs from an 8-bolt to a 5-bolt? Not hard at all when you're doing a full Restomod. However, that's the one thing that's sticking in the minds of some of these very, very meticulous folks who are out there.
And we appreciate that, too.
And we appreciate that. But it is an F-250. Come on. Come on over here.
Let's take a look.
Let's take a look.
Now, this didn't come with any kind of...
Now you're going to tell me it's not a Ford either, because Fords didn't come with that handle, right?
Sort of like a Tesla.
Let's open the door.
All
You
right.
remember prior to 1968 and the federal government making VINs go on the dash? You have to look down here, PJ. All the way at the VIN. And Ford F-250 VINs, what do they start with, everybody? F-25.
There it is, F25.
There you go. It's an F-250. Plus, we have the original warranty paperwork on this vehicle. It will go to the winner, and it definitely says F-250. So, let there be no doubt.
Did originals come with the bedwood?
Now, let's look at that bedwood. This is so nice. Guys, this rocks. You really need to support Bedwood. They're out of Kentucky. Actually, they're in Kentucky, right? They're in Kentucky, and they rock. They do these beds for classic trucks, and they did this for our F-250.
It's and a long one.
And long bed as well. Yeah. So, you know, maybe one of these days I'll show you a picture of the F-250 before the resto mod. It's kind of a cool looking old work truck from back in the day. By the way, prior to it being resto modded, it was a one owner F-250. And I believe that it spent its life in, I don't know. I saw it, I forget where it is. Somewhere on the east of the Mississippi, that's what I'll say.
Now Roger has a question for you, which would probably take about 30 to 45 minutes. Why are Pontiacs so great? And he says it might keep him busy for a while, but that might be another show altogether.
Well, here we go. Well, Pontiacs really, for me, Pontiacs really started getting great when Bunky Knudsen took over. So they made Bunky Knudsen the general manager of Pontiac. And even though I really liked kind of the Indian tie-in, and Pontiac's 1955, you could get the light-up Indian on the hood of a Catalina or on a Star Chief or on a Bonneville. They had these suspenders, that's what they call them, over the top. And if you think about it, if you ever saw I Love Lucy, Lucy had a 56 Pontiac convertible. Well, Bunky Knudsen thought that was just, that it was kind of dodgy. Not dodgy as in the brand, dodgy as in kind of old folks sort of stuff. So he said, let's take those suspenders off. And so the first vehicle to come out after Bunky Knudsen took over as general manager was the 57 Bonneville convertible. Today, one of the most wonderful looking cars from the 1950s. And I think they made 618 of them. I think every Pontiac dealer got one. And that was it. They're well over 100 grand today. But guess who worked for Bunky Knudsen? Pete Estes. You probably know his name because he went on to be the general manager of Chevrolet. And you know who worked for Pete Estes? John DeLorean as an engineer. So Pontiac, by the early 60s, was really trying to prove that it could be number 3 in sales. And so with Knudsen and Estes, and by the way, Estes went on to be the general manager of Ford in the late 60s. That's another story. But with Estes and DeLorean there, they really set out to make a name for Pontiac. And that's when the GTO, that's when all the NASCAR Pontiacs came out, the big old 421 Super Duty cars from 61 to 63, before General Motors stopped the racing program. And then with DeLorean, and I'll tell that whole story some other time, how about DeLorean took the Le Mans home with the 8-cylinder, and he loaned it to his neighbors, and you gotta build it, you gotta build it, and then the GTO. But my personal favorite reason why I love Pontiacs, the hood tack. When I saw the first hood tack on a Pontiac, it was on a Firebird, it had to be a 67, I knew that was a brand for me. So that's what I love about Pontiac.
Beautiful. Christian wants to know, what has been your most memorable giveaway and why? Well, those are all amazing ones, right? You know?
Yeah, we've had so many. Hellcat X was pretty big in 2015, giving away that bi-turbo supercharged Hellcat over 1,000 horsepower. Before anybody was doing 1,000 horsepower, we did it here in the Dream Giveaway Garage. That LS6 Chevelle, that gold one, I was talking about it today, that 4-speed bench seat car, I love that one. The Impala bench seat, 427, 425 horse car, love that one a whole lot as well. I can go on and on and on of all the cool cars that we've given away.
Yeah, it's tough to pick out just one.
Yeah, it really is. And how many cool cars do we have right now that you guys can still win? From the Nova, the sleeper Nova, to the 33,000 mile GTO convertible that I'm looking at, to the Restomod Vet, to this 408 stroker Ford. Is it a 100? No, it's a F-250. And all the other cool cars here. The Chevelle will be drawing a winner on in a week.
The bees over there behind your shoulder.
The bees behind us up there on the backyard buddy lift.
Someone said it almost looks like the Carvana ads, like a vending machine with all of the different.
It almost does look like that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Except you can't buy them, you got to win them.
Robert says, why are people questioning everything. And we actually don't mind it. We want to just show them what's going on. And if someone saw this particular thing that says, hey, it looks like a carburetor,
You know what? If I looked at it from this far away, I'd say, oh, cool, that's a carburetor. But you really got to, when you got to be up close looking at the engine bay, and then you start to realize, well, not only does it say EFI right on there, but why is this super huge electric fuel pump right here on a street truck? And then you realize that it's a fuel injection system.
now this giveaway, I mean, is it really for people who really love trucks? Is it somebody who just really admires the Resto Mod? I mean, what do we got? What is this?
Well, listen, you know I'm a classic car guy. I would rather get in a 1970 and a half Trans Am and go to work every day than in any other car that's ever made. I get in this truck, and I'm like, I'd like to take this truck home. I mean, this truck, there's so much cool about it, and it's so low maintenance because of the fuel injection, because of the
Yeah, there's a lot of new stuff in
AC
here.
that's in there, how comfortable the leather is in there. This is a totally cool truck.
Right, it's not like when you see an older car and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
you need a mechanic.
Right, absolutely. So this is a great one. And then all of the new cars, I mean, VIN number 1 of a Cadillac, you've seen these things cross the block at Barrett-Jackson for millions of dollars. You can win it. The GT500 Heritage Edition, the last of this generation of the Shelby GT500. These are the caliber of the cars that we choose for you guys to win in the Dream Giveaway Garage.
John said, by speaking of that Cadillac, 3, 5, and 7 month old. 5, 3, and 7 month old. So those are 5 years old, 3 years old, and 7 months old. God bless
No
you.
problem. Win it and strap them in. And strap them in tight because that thing's a rocket ship.
It is. It takes off.
Yeah, absolutely. Who else is out there? Who's got some questions? Who wants to know what we're picking, why we pick them, what they got under the hood? Go ahead and ask.
Well, Chris, before we go any further, what's the next one that's going to be giving away? It's the 57.
57 Chevy Resto Mod 5-speed and a 350. That one is carbureted.
John says, are the car seat hookups in the Nova? The Nova?
Car seat hookups?
I don't know. What year was the Nova?
1970? I don't think we...
We all just sat in front.
No, we just sat in there and bounced
Somebody's
around.
lap, yeah, somebody's lap.
So do you mean, are the seatbelts still in the Nova? I'm pretty sure they are.
Yeah.
And I know that they're in the Camaro because I talked about it. The Camaro has a shoulder belt and a lap belt before they integrated it. And we talked about this before. Who integrated that seatbelt mechanism that everybody uses today? Volvo is the answer, 1973.
Didn't for a time that some car companies were actually putting this like electronic thing where they were connected and you'd get in and
I
it would
remember that.
open it for you.
Yeah, that was
and
in the 70s. I think I remember a Buick or something with those back in the day.
Crazy.
Yeah, crazy indeed. So lots of cool stuff here in the Dream Giveaway Garage. There's definitely a 250. We're not picking on you if that was you who sent that comment in to us. We hope that this video lets you know a little bit more about the vehicle and that you fall in love with it and that you get entries to win.
That's right.
Right?
Yep.
Speaking of entries to win, when's the next poll, PJ?
The 10th, I believe.
That's a week from tomorrow.
That's
PJ.
correct, and that's for 2 different giveaways. We've got the NHRA trip
Right?
and the what just ended? I forget.
Chevelle.
Oh, the
Chevelle
Chevelle,
right
yeah,
over
sitting right there. Yeah, yeah.
That's why the Chevelle is still there.
That's right.
Right?
The 10th, and if you've got tickets, you've got a shot.
There you go. All right, guys. Thanks for watching today. Really enjoyed you being so nice to share a few minutes of your time with us today. That
And
makes
send some questions in too, because if you don't know the answer, then we would love to kind of point out something on these vehicles. We've got a lot of vehicles here.
and sometimes we don't know the answer and we have to look it up.
That's right.
It's all good. We'll see you guys tomorrow. More great fun, more great action, more great grand prizes. It only happens here in our favorite place on earth, the Dream Giveaway Garage.